Just with Katie. Season 3. Monday Mouthful. Special edition this week. Hey everybody, and welcome to Cooking Adventures with Katie. Season 3. On today's episode, actually on the Monday Mouthful, what we are going to do is we are going to be doing something... let me slow down. For this episode, we are going to be doing something a little bit different. My best friend is getting married on Thursday, and he put me in charge of his wedding cake. So, instead of doing pasta dish for this week, I'm going to be doing something on wedding cakes. Now, his wedding cake will be premiered on Friday, same as normal. We'll be making it Thursday night, but I'm not 100% on whether it will be completely iced. So, we're just going to go ahead and get started on some wedding info on the cake, and then we're going to go from there. So, yeah. Oh, and also, did y'all see the eclipse? Holy crap, guys. Dude, it was awesome. We went to a place where there was totality. It's beautiful. It was beautiful. I wish I had been able to get a good picture of it, but it was something that, if you ever have the chance to go and see an eclipse in totality, do it. You will not regret it. And I'm getting eaten by mosquitoes. Okay. So, let's do this real quick before I get eaten alive. So, the contemporary wedding cake has grown out of... I'm getting eaten. Has grown out of several different ethnic traditions, with one of the first being in ancient Rome, where bread was broken over the bride's head for good fortune. Now, traditionally in England and in America, wedding cakes were fruit cakes topped with marzipan and icing, and they were made with tears. In medieval England, cakes were stacked as high as possible for the bride and groom to kiss over. A successful kiss meant that they were guaranteed a prosperous life together. During the mid-17th century, the bride would put a ring inside of the couple's portion of the cake to symbolize acceptance of the proposal. Also, the bride's pie was also served at most weddings. A ring was placed in the middle, and the maiden who found it would be the next to marry. It was considered rude and bad luck to not have a bite of the bride's pie. So, the bride's pie transformed into the bride's cake, and the flower bouquet toss slowly replaced the ring within the cake. Excuse me, I'm sorry for the shakiness, guys. I'm getting eaten. Mosquitoes enjoy my flesh. Let's see. Fruit cakes were a sign of fertility and prosperity, and were often the bride's cake. And the bride's cake eventually evolved into the modern wedding cake. In the 17th century, there were two cakes, one for the bride and one for the groom. The groom's cake was typically a darker colored, rich fruit cake, much smaller than the bride's cake. At this time was typically a pound cake with white icing to symbolize purity. In the 19th century, sugar became more easily obtained, though the more refined and whiter sugars were still more expensive. When Queen Victoria used white icing, let's see. When Queen Victoria used white icing on her cake, it became known as royal icing. The modern cake we know today originated at the wedding of Prince Leopold, Duke of Albany, in 1882. His wedding cake was the first to be completely edible, as opposed to having only a portion be edible. The cutting of the cake was originally intended to be distributed by the bride only, because consuming the cake would ensure fertility. In traditional American weddings, maidens would be invited to pull ribbons that were attached to the bottom tier of the cake, And only one of those ribbons contained a charm or a ring, and that maiden would be the next to be married. So that is that's our Monday mouthful for today. So I'm excited for this cake. It's going to be 2 tiers and 4 parts. Well, 3 tiers technically, but the top tier is going to be off to the side for them. So 2 tiers for everybody, and then they get their own little cake. With that being said, I'll see y'all on Friday with the Foodie Friday, where we will be baking this delicious cake. And so yeah, all right. Well, see y'all then. Bye.